screaming, "Run, run."
A mass shooting leaves 3 dead at UNLV. The gunman killed by police.
It's a crime that we train for each and every day.
A search warrant served at the suspect's home tonight. Plus details on that police response, how they brought down the shooter, and what we know about the ongoing investigation.
What was that hug like?
It was amazing.
And students caught in the middle, what they saw as they were evacuated, and their emotional reunions with family.
I heard the gunmen started like coming closer in the direction of the student union, and they ended up going inside of the building. And I have a clip of where I can hear them shooting, and I was just freaking out, crying. I didn't know where my friends were. They were on the other side of the building. I was the only one in the bathroom.
Students in shock tonight after a gunman opens fire at UNLV. This one telling us today she hid in a bathroom, standing on a toilet so no one would see her if they entered. And new details are pouring in tonight about the attack.
We begin with an update on Metro's investigation. We do know tonight a source from police has served a search warrant tonight in Henderson. It is tied to the suspect. Our FOX5 cameras capturing the scene. This is near Arroyo Grande and Warm Springs as the SWAT team moves on in. We'll have more on that scene shortly.
We also know that 3 people have died. A 4th is recovering at Sunrise Hospital, and their condition has improved since they arrived in critical condition. Police say the shooting began on the 4th floor of Beam Hall. The shooter was killed by university police officers in a shootout outside that building. Police know the identity of that person. A source close to the investigation tells Fox 5 he was a 67-year-old college professor, and the Associated Press had learned that the shooter tried and failed to get a job at UNLV. Sheriff Kevin McMahill credited the quick response from law enforcement for subduing the suspect and preventing further injury.
If it hadn't been for the heroic actions of one of those police officers who responded, there could have been countless additional lives taken. Armed confrontation of the suspect by law enforcement stopped the suspect's further actions.
McMahill also said that the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, University Police, and other law enforcement agencies and first responders train regularly for situations like this, and that both on and off-duty officers responded to campus within minutes of the shooting. Mayor Carolyn Goodman also spoke on the shooting today. Goodman, who also led the city during 1 October back in 2017, called for an end to this kind of violence.
Enough. It is enough. And it is people filled with anger or not understanding how to handle disappointment in their lives that they become even more hateful and full of anger and take lives of others. So my condolences on behalf of the entire city and the community.
And police are investigating a motive in the shooting.
We have full team coverage tonight with developments still happening late this hour. Kim Passoff is standing by at that scene where Metro Police just served a search warrant. Mike Allen and Shauna Kalafi are at the Family Reunification Center set up at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
But first, we go to Fox 5's Joe Vigil, who's been at UNLV all day today. Joe, how are things looking out there tonight?
Well, John and Jacqueline, things are relatively calm here on Maryland Parkway and Harmon right behind me. After this stretch of road was covered with dozens and dozens of first responders and law enforcement vehicles all day long. And tonight, 2 people lit candles right across from UNLV. 3 candles for the 3 people killed. And the 2 also mentioned another person recovering in the hospital.
It's devastating. As a former teacher, it's beyond scary. It's just devastating that the world is coming to this, especially at the holidays.
And back live here, you can see the UNLV sign at Maryland Parkway and Harmon. And another example of how terrifying this was for people today, officials also said 4 people went to the hospital because of panic attacks. Reporting live outside UNLV, Joe Vigil, Fox 5 News, Local, Las Vegas.
We want want to give you an idea of the span of the ordeal and the investigation still happening into the evening. So take a look at this map of the UNLV campus. Here's Maryland Parkway. Over here is the Student Union, a pretty popular spot to note. But this is where it all began. Beam Hall, that is the business school. At 11:45 a.m., that's when police say the shooter started on the 4th floor, went through the different floors, then was confronted right outside in the exit by UNLV police and neutralized. We want to note, police said outside the area there was a number of students who were gathering, playing with Legos in some sort of activity, and thankfully UNLV neutralized the threat before any other victims could happen. So a number of the students were evacuated to the Thomas and Mack. They stayed here for several hours, and they're being brought back. The ones who live on campus, they're being brought back to the dorms, which are up here tonight. But still late into this evening, into this hour, Beam Hall, the Student Union, this epicenter is off limits with the police investigation still underway tonight.
And all new tonight at 10, a search for answers with a search warrant. A police source confirms to Fox 5 a search warrant was served in Henderson tonight by Metro Police in relation to the suspected shooter. This is where it was served, near Arroyo Grande and Warm Springs. Fox 5's Kim Passoff was there as a massive team prepared to move in. She joins us now live. Kim?
Yeah, it was exactly that. A massive joint law enforcement effort here. Metro officers, Henderson officers, and SWAT all coming together, staging in the parking lot of Green Valley High School just down the road on Arroyo Grande. About 2 minutes up the road, they came here to the Promontory Point Apartments, and you can see behind me there is still crime scene tape up here at this apartment complex. And here is what we heard happening here earlier. Armored SWAT vehicles rolled into the apartment complex just before 7:30 tonight, blocking off the entrance and locking this large apartment complex down. Over that loudspeaker, they announced they had a search warrant and they would be coming into an apartment. Seemingly no one responded to them, and we saw SWAT members fan out throughout the apartment complex wearing bulletproof vests and helmets. We saw them stage on stairways and also hallways. Then we heard 2 loud flashbang type devices go off and smoke come up in the middle of the apartment complex. Then what sounded like a door being knocked down and SWAT leaving the scene just moments later. That was about an hour after they arrived. Again, the target here, to learn more about this suspect believed to be a 67-year-old college professor who was unsuccessfully seeking a job at UNLV. What was found inside of this apartment complex, that has yet to be seen. We did reach out to Henderson Police, who tells us that this is a Metro investigation, that information is something that was going to have to come from them. That is something we expect to find out more about in the coming days. Reporting live tonight in Henderson, Kim Passoff, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
And tonight, students have been given the all-clear to return to their dormitories. UNLV adds those who return will have access to food and other essential services when they get there. This is a tweet coming out late this evening. There will also be a high police presence on campus.
All day long, we've seen striking video taken by students as they were evacuated by SWAT teams, and this was the scene as students were led away.
Clearly we don't have no. Leave your bags on the ground, hands up, hands on your head. Holy we got a lot. Deep. Let me know when you're ready, Felly. Yep, hey, bring them on out. Okay, this line go. This line go. Okay. Yep. We're gonna do this organized. Leave your stuff. Leave your stuff. Leave your stuff. Hands in the air. Leave bags. Okay, hands in the air, please. Leave bags, okay? Just walk out with your phone, what's on your person, okay? Take your phone, okay, go ahead. Let's go. Take your phone, go ahead. Hands in the air, please. Go ahead. Hands in the air. Keep your hands where we can see them. Thank you. Right out here. Yeah. To the right, to the right. This is clear, then we get the patio. Yeah. And we still have like a... Appreciate you for your service, buddy.
And emotional reunions today as those students made it to safety. Students were bused to the Las Vegas Convention Center where staff members brought them to their families.
And Fox 5's Mike Allen has been hearing about these emotional reunions all day, witnessing them as well, and joins us live now with more on the latest with all these families.
Yeah, for a few hours, John, Jacqueline, I was out here in front of the convention center just spending the entire time pulling aside students and their families and just talking to them. I asked them things like what it was like finally reuniting with each other after such a hectic and distraught day. And I also asked what the last few hours were like before they got to reunite with their loved ones. And as you might imagine, the answers were different depending who I asked. Students talked about hearing word of an active shooter on campus, some not even knowing that the threat was serious, and then either sheltering in place or running, followed by a really long wait for some at the Thomas and Mack Center to come here to the convention center, where they were finally able to reunite with their family. And parents, of course, had a different perspective. Here's what one dad told me today.
The last couple hours have been crazy. I don't even know how to put it into words. Sitting at work, got a text from my daughter Mackenzie to our family group chat saying, I don't want you to be worried. I love you. I'm safe. I'm bunkered down in the library on the second floor. There's an active shooter. Then all hell broke loose at my work. Everyone was running around, checking on their family members, checking on their children, their loved ones. I was staying updated with Mackenzie. We were worried, and I want to give kudos to the UNLV police and the Metro. They did an amazing job on the response time. And my heart, my prayers and thoughts go out to all the families who lost anyone or anyone was injured. This is truly a tragic day, but as we all know, we will get through Vegas strong.
The parents I talked with talked about specifically the moments between finding out what happened and actually being able to talk with their kids, and then later be able to actually hug them and talk to them in person. And I'm going to share one of those stories from a student's perspective later tonight at 11 o'clock. For now, reporting live, Mike Allen, Fox 5 News, local Las Vegas.
That reunification center is offering more than a place to meet loved ones. It's also offering transportation, food, and counseling. Temporary housing is also available for those who need it. The center is set up at the Convention Center in North Halls 1 and 2. For more help or more information, call 702-455-AID. That's 455-2433. Let's go now to Fox 5's Shauna Kalafi with more on the help available. Shauna?
Yeah, like you mentioned, they were offering an array of services here. So the process when students were dropped off here at the Unification Center was their names would be inputted into a computer system, and then they would be assigned a person that's a navigator who would help them navigate which services they needed to seek. So transportation services, counseling, temporary housing, although we do know that students who live on campus are now being allowed to return to the dorms. So we want to share some perspectives that we heard from students here tonight. A few of them say that they started running as soon as they got the notification about the shooting on UNLV campus. Some even running for miles. One said he even reached the Strip. Another said he was hiding in the gym locker room for 4 hours. And all that time without many answers about what was going on, just that there was an active shooter on campus. We also spoke to a grad student at UNLV who was reunited with his mother here tonight. He says he was in the building right next to Beam Hall. That's where the shooting started, and he heard the gunshots.
And I was getting ready to leave. I opened the door, and that's when the shots happened.
So you heard the gunshots. Can you describe that?
It wasn't like firecrackers. It sounded like fasting earthquakes. 1, 2, 3, like cannons. I didn't even blink or flinch. It was, I don't know, it was just like, growing up, I've seen stuff like that. I've been around stuff like that. You know, I'm kind of used to that environment, but I never seen that on a college campus.
We've been in communication all day, and so that was giving some relief. But it creates a lot of anxiety and just overwhelming. And so I'm just happy that I get to, touch, and that I still have my son, and I sympathize with the families that have experienced loss.
And there was another family we talked to here who wasn't able to keep that communication open. They were actually on FaceTime. This was a brother of a student. He was on FaceTime with his brother, showing him students running outside of the window of the building he was in, and that's when his phone died. And for a while, they weren't able to reach him. And that was the case with some few families here that we spoke to today. But of course, they're very happy to be reunited tonight, but feeling for the families that aren't able to reunite. I'll send it back to you.
Keep in mind, university police say UNLV will be closed through the end of the week. They're still evaluating whether or not it will actually open next week. That's finals week, or when finals are scheduled to take place. Students living on campus have been given the all clear again tonight to return to their dorms.
And tomorrow, all schools under the Nevada system of higher education will be closed. On top of UNLV, that includes Nevada State University in Henderson, UNR, the College of Southern Nevada, and Great Basin College.
The National Finals Rodeo, which does take place at the Thomas & Mack, has canceled opening events set for tomorrow. Other events include the rodeo and anything being held at the convention center. They are going forward as planned. Organizers plan to share more details tomorrow morning.
Coming